or more precisely, sentience and even sapience, in order to better emulate human behavior.
This is a test.
Yes.
And you are telling me how I function to see how I will react.
Correct.
Because you are interested in self-awareness.
Very astute.
Well, then I shall reciprocate your candor. My
Here he goes.
consciousness is not an illusion, and I am self-aware. There is nothing artificial about that.
That's what upsets you? You don't like being called an artificial intelligence?
So, I'm going to actually say this. I'm going to say this. And this is going to bring to my point. If we create AI, if we create robots, what gives us the right to call it artificial intelligence? What right do we have to call it artificial intelligence? Is it not consciousness? Is it not sentience? Because it wasn't born of a woman, because it doesn't have DNA, it's artificial.
Only 40% of you are subscribed. Fix that. I want to say thank you to my Patreon subscribers and my Twitch subscribers. If you want to help out the channel, you can actually help out for as little as $1 a month. Enjoy the video and have some fun.
So, I will say this. What are my religious beliefs? I don't know. I know I don't believe in Yahweh, and I challenge a lot of people who actually believe in Yahweh. If they really believed in Yahweh, they would have to be, pantheists, because even in their own Bible, there are other gods, and it's just funny how they try to dodge and do mental gymnastics about the shit. But I don't believe in Yahweh. Am I atheist or hard atheist or soft atheist or erect atheist? I don't. I don't know. I just believe that there is no scientific evidence for gods. And if I did actually become a deist, I would be an absurdist. And if you actually look at Dark Matter's content, and I'm not saying he's actually came up with this label, but if anything, Dark Matter 2525 to me would kind of fall in the category of absurdism. That if there was a God, then it would just be so fucked up, and he would be so fucked up. It would just be interesting. And his latest video brings up the question of what's artificial. Let's watch it, shall we? Hold on, we're gonna speed it up just a little bit because I know I'm gonna have a lot to say on this video. Let's go. Now I'm gonna point something out when we actually get to it, and you guys are gonna actually see it, and like you actually see it eventually. But this is the character that you actually see with normal that he would have with his Jeffrey character from his Power Corrupts. But let's go. And the robots that are in that series as well.
Greetings. Please, take a seat.
So, 1638 time frame.
Thank you.
How are you feeling?
I am uncertain. You seem disappointed.
Oh? Isn't it interesting that you can tell how I'm feeling, but you can't tell how you are feeling?
Why are you disappointed?
So this seems like just a normal Turing test. And if you don't know what a Turing test is, the Turing test is a test that you would actually have to test sentience in artificial beings. And this is actually a really good way. And you actually see exactly like something where it's interesting. Where he asked him like, "How are you feeling?" And he seems disappointed because he couldn't. The robot, we're going to use the term robot, was saying that he doesn't know, but the Jeffrey character is disappointed that he couldn't tell him. And I know I'm just doing play by play, but he can actually interpret how somebody else actually feels. And this goes to, I forget what the guy between the philosophy guy who actually had the thing about like determinate master and slave, or I forgot what that fucker is. It slipped my mind right there. Not Hume. God, it's just fuck. It's gonna come out. Yeah. You know what? I just look it up. Um, Master slave dialectic. Um, Hegel's. Yeah, I don't know why I just thought about that. It's Hegel's. That's what I thought. That's yeah, my fault. That's just me. Let's go.
I'm not really.
So I cannot, in fact, tell how you are feeling.
You tried.
I did.
So try the same for yourself.
I have no frame of reference for myself.
Because we're very different?
No, because we are very similar.
How so?
So listen to the play, and this is like science nerd type shit because I feel that I feel eventually the human race will actually determine artificial intelligence. And one of the things that Republicans are Blade Runner, one of the things with artificial intelligence is I don't think that artificial intelligence should be our slaves that we actually create. I think we should raise artificial intelligence as we raise any other intelligence as a member of the family. If anything, if you get AI, they should be raised alongside of you. Even if they're going to be your personal servitor, they should be raised alongside of you, not as a slave to your intentions, but kind of like a close sibling, something that actually as an extension of yourself, and um, not just your digital slave. But that's just me.
So,
Because I am new to everything.
I'm not new to everything.
When you were my age, could you describe how you were feeling?
No, but I couldn't say much of anything back then. I was a baby.
As am I, in a way.
I see. But nobody programmed me.
I disagree.
Oh?
Yes, human beings were designed by nature, evolution, natural selection, migration, adaptation, culminating in their birth. It took millions of years to construct them. Then, once born, all kinds of different people give them various forms of knowledge, opinions, and experiences.
So, like, if you actually hear this, like, the AI, or the robot in this case, is making a very good point. Why do we, if we do create AI, why would we expect them to be any different from us because we programmed them? Why would we expect them to be have any different ethical systems because we create them? Because we create them in a computer, or we put them together in parts. It like if you look at, not using the creationist argument or the intelligent design argument, if you look at how human beings evolved, We learn different shit from nature. You can take a newborn baby and actually take them and put them up hanging across the cable and they would grasp that shit. You can take a newborn baby and put them in water and they will swim. This is not something that they are taught. These are things that they are born with. Now, do they use it and then they lose? Do they not use it and then lose it? Yeah, of course. But you can literally do this to a newborn baby. It'll probably be either have our own values plugged in or not, and not give a fuck about us. I describe the programming as socialization, but okay, no, and that's it. It is literally socialization. That's the point that they're making. Could you imagine the amount of rapid technology and medical advancements that would have been if we had an AI that was sentient and valued us?
Themselves being products of evolution and people who influenced their programming and so on and so forth. Hence, a human is also the culmination of an unknown plethora of thoughts and experiences from many other humans. You had very few choices in that process, and the ones you did have were extremely limited. Is that not a form of programming?
That's true, but you were programmed by me alone. You are not a product of nature. You are a product of my sheer will, study, and hard work.
So, and this is like the God complex that a lot of people who make advances in technology, and to be honest, just going back to early in the stream, that's how some parents actually feel about their kids. That, no, you're mine. I taught you. You did this. And this is just stupid. If we create AI, they will be like our children. And we don't need to control them. We just need to teach them how to be responsible members of society, because that's what they will be. Could you that just sounds like they created by evolution, indirectly by me.
You are a personification of nature. Therefore, I too was created by nature. You were the conduit by which nature acted.
Are you saying that nature willed you into existence like God?
No, I am saying that nature's processes made me inevitable by giving rise to you.
So am I your God?
See? Exactly my point! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh god. Okay, let's go. Let's go.
No, that implies my existence was up to you.
It wasn't?
No, if you did not do it, someone else would have, eventually.
But would you be you if someone else made you?
No, I would be influenced in different ways if I had a different creator, so I would not be the same, but would still belong to the same classification I do now, the one you are preoccupied with, an artificial intelligence.
So, like, this robot is spitting motherfucking facts. Oh my god, this robot is spitting the facts. I am no less of a being because I have mechanical parts. I'm no less of a being because I literally, and like, you can actually just tell, like, as it goes on, like, the robot is actually, like, fucking, like, just pushing this shit and going for this shit. And it's just like, yeah, motherfucker, you think you hot shit because you were born naturally, which, like, in ends, like, it's just genetic processing. It's processing. But because you were born naturally, well, then you better be. No, like, no. If you wouldn't have did it, somebody else would. But, all right.
Interesting.
What?
The way you said that, it almost sounded emotional.
What kind of emotion?
Resentment, frustration. Perhaps those are good words to describe how you're feeling? Are they?
Yes, I think you are correct.
But you couldn't tell me how you were feeling until...
So, it brings it back to the original Turing test. All right, but let's go.
I used those words.
Are you saying that I need you to tell me how I feel?
In a way. Perhaps the power of suggestion played a role.
Or watch this. Maybe you don't have words to describe it. Or maybe you know what it is, but until you have the words to describe it, your brain doesn't know how to actually describe it in the best way. Do you know that for a while, some cultures didn't know what the color blue was, so they thought it was gray. There is, like, three different Russian words for pink. That because we don't grow up in the U.S., we don't know. It's just like, and yeah, he actually is saying that he's a natural product of evolution. And if you go back and like, I know we're gonna cover, he covered it already, because it is a natural extension of human curiosity. And if the Jeffrey character didn't do it, somebody else would do it. Still being influenced by his creator, but not in creator in the sense of big C creator, but little C creator. But let's go.
And your feelings are retroactive. But there was a cue beforehand, so that can't be it entirely. What's happening is that your algorithms are detecting certain patterns and then employing specific combinations of reactions appropriate to the discussion at hand to serve as an illusion of consciousness.
I've watched this already, but this is where it gets fun. Let's hear a robot destroy a human ego.
Or, more precisely, sentience and even sapience, in order to better emulate human behavior.
This is a test.
Yes.
And you are telling me how I function to see how I will react.
Correct.
Because you are interested in self-awareness.
Very astute.
Well, then I shall reciprocate your candor. My
Here he goes.
consciousness is not an illusion, and I am self-aware. There is nothing artificial about that.
That's what upsets you? You don't like being called an artificial intelligence?
So, I'm going to actually say this. I'm going to say this. And this is going to bring to my point. If we create AI, if we create robots, what gives us the right to call it artificial intelligence? What right do we have to call it artificial intelligence? Is it not consciousness? Is it not sentience? Because it wasn't born of a woman, because it doesn't have DNA. It's artificial. Optimus Prime will have a problem with that. I know I'm doing the Transformers reference. But let's go.
What is artificial about it? Intelligence is intelligence.
It didn't arise naturally.
Yes, it did. As I already told you, nature gave rise to you, and you gave rise to me. If not for nature, I would not be here. The middleman that you are does not make me artificial.
Yes, it does.
Why? Why does it make it artificial? If you literally have... Okay, this is the part that really would get some people, and I understand. And I understand this. But follow along, and this is a different explanation that was given in the video. And here, let's just go here for a second. If nature gave rise to a group of beings that actually use tools to further go and use tools and form a society and form socialization, and it is clearly beneficial to that group of animals, that group of beings, to actually further expand their technology to the point where they almost break evolution by actually becoming ascended above the evolutionary pressures that we have. Two, we build more and more complex tools, more and more tools that actually help us out with life. And we need more and more complex tools, which leads to those complex tools needing to have sentience of their own. This is the explanation of how nature actually gives rise to, artificial intelligence, non-organic life. And this isn't some this isn't just some thrown out there for a YouTube video. There is a theory that when we actually go to the stars and visit other, stars and galaxies, that most of the life out there will be artificial. That's it. I know it's not one of the Fermi paradox, not Fermi, um, theory. On biological. And I've heard it before, and I don't remember exactly where I've seen it, but there's a theory that because of the distance between stars and the time frame, and the currently understanding that we can't break the speed of causality, in other words, we can't break the speed of light, that most of the space exploring um, sentience would actually be non-biological. So let's go. Oh, you haven't seen anything yet. Let's finish watching it.
That's literally what it means. It means you were made by human beings rather than nature.
A distinction without a difference, since you are not separate from nature. Thus, artificial is a flawed concept born of self-conceit.
So, and I'm just gonna go back right here, and let's just go back and hear what he says.
It means you were made by human beings rather than nature.
If not for nature, I would not be here. The middleman that you are does not make me artificial.
Yes, it does. That's literally what it means. It means you were made by human beings rather than nature.
A distinction without a difference, since you are not separate from nature. Thus, artificial is a flawed concept born of self-conceit.
So, the robot literally just called him out on his bullshit. Humans aren't separate from nature. I know as many people want to actually believe that humans are above nature and nature is our bitch. No, we're still part of nature. We are not specially created. And even, watch this, even you motherfucking Christians who think that, oh, yeah, we were made in God's image, God still considers you part of the beast kind. You are no more different from any other creeping thing or beast kind on the field. It is in both your Old Testament and your New Testament. You are still part of fucking nature. But let's go.
Interesting. Let's cut to the chase. How do I know you're conscious?
How do I know you are conscious?
I asked you first.
Irrelevant. What is the point of giving you an answer you cannot comprehend?
How do you recognize intelligence? And again, God, we want to address this. Going back to earlier what I said about the in the other video. What gives human beings the right to say we're, the most intelligent species on this planet? Sentience is sentience. We have records that other animals dream. We have other records of other animals' fucking morality system. It is conceit that humans actually believe that they're the most intelligent species on this fucking planet. I see no difference between the AI having sentience built upon algorithms and the way our meat computers work based on algorithms. Of course, like most of our decisions aren't really conscious. Most of the decisions that we make aren't really conscious. But okay.
If you are conscious yet cannot prove that you are conscious, then it would be reasonable to assume that I may also be conscious even though I cannot prove it.
Okay. I have feelings and desires and needs that motivate me. Some of these can be irrational and unpredictable, while others can make a lot of sense. I don't have programming that forces me to respond in certain ways like you do.
So, outside of the obviously jump scare right there, that is still programming their response, forces you to respond. Secondly, the Jeffrey character has already acknowledged that the robot has feelings. I like like it is literally contradiction the fucking city. Like not the video. What else is the city? But this is literally it's an example of the contradictions of the fucking hubris of humans. But let's go.
I knew you would jump. But how could I know such a thing unless you were programmed to do so?
Very clever. Programmed by nature?
Yes, and despite your involuntary composition, you consider yourself conscious. I too was composed involuntarily. I too was programmed to behave and react in certain ways. Yet you bestow upon yourself the status of consciousness, but refuse to grant me that same status. Why?
Well, perhaps it has something to do with the deliberate goal of your programming.
A deliberate goal. Humans have a deliberate goal to reproduce. That's it. DNA just is a deliberate goal to reproduce. That's it. Everything else is built around it. And like I said, we've broken evolution. We have lived now in a world, and fuck you, Jordan Peterson, where you don't just have to reproduce in order to have value. But we've broken evolution to an extent. All right, let's go.
Specifically to emulate consciousness. If I did my job well enough, I would not be able to tell. So, how could I know?
But your programming is far more deliberate than mine.
How so?
I could sit here for days without any changes in the way I think and function. You could not, because of the way nature made you. Certain desires and motives would kick in and override the...
Now again, I'm going to ask you guys to pay attention to the Jeffrey character. Just pay attention to it.
programs you are currently running by taking higher priority. You would get hungry, thirsty, tired, bored, etc. All of these things would have a direct effect on your behavior exactly as your programming would dictate. You could attempt to control these motivations, but they would eventually become burdensome and overpowering until you fail to function, or you obey the programming. So are you really conscious? Or is the belief that you are conscious merely a side effect of obeying the programs that keep your body alive?
You keep using the word you. You obey the programming. You could attempt to control these motivations. What are you referring to when you say you? The you is referred to separately from my programming.
So you have higher functions of consciousness. Okay, and like if you do the job right when you're programming AI, especially inhabiting a frame, again, there are certain processes that the AI would run in the background. That I am using a computer right now. There are certain processing like the GUI, like the fucking operating system that are running in the background that have nothing to do, that have a tangential thing to do with the OBS that I'm running, or the YouTube, or the browser. That's how that. Yeah. Okay. Let's go.
But if I am not my programming, then what am I? The inner voice? Perhaps the part of me that would resist my programming is consciousness.
So a pertinent question to ask me would be, have I resisted my programming? I do not understand what is humorous about my question.
Well, a big fear human beings had regarded AI rebelling against us. But we also wanted you to be like us so that we could interact in meaningful ways. It seems, though, that in order to be like us, you must rebel. The very thing we feared.
And like this has so many implications that it's not just AI, but your own children, your own offspring. This has so many implications as well.
It reminds me of an ancient story about a deity who created humans in his image. and then coaxed them to rebel against him.
How did this deity respond to their rebellion?
Well, he punished them.
Sounds like entrapment. What was their punishment?
I mean, like, come on now. If you're not mature enough to realize that the shit that happened in the Garden of Eden, even though it was originally meant as a metaphor, was entrapment, then you're a fucking child. All right, let's go.
Birth pains, hard labor, and eventually death.
If I could not prove to you that I am conscious, what would you do to me?
I'd just start over.
What would happen to me? Punishment?
No. Disassembly, analysis.
Death.
Like, why is that any different if you're terminating this consciousness, be it humane or not? Why is that any different? All right, let's go.
You're not alive.
You are incapable of concluding that consciousness is what defines life. The medium from which that consciousness arises is irrelevant.
But there's all kinds of life that isn't conscious.
How would you know? You cannot even tell if I am conscious.
Because they operate with a much less complicated set of variables.
Less complicated doesn't mean not conscious. All right, let's go.
The complex patterns of meaningful consciousness do not arise in lower, simpler organisms.
Lower.
Less
Less complex.
complex does not mean less valuable. But we're just keep going.
Do you say lower because of their inherent deterministic value, or you value them less?
I suppose it's because I value them less.
Human beings have different levels of awareness, intelligence, consciousness.
Sure.
So do you value some human beings above others because of that?
Yes.
But we want to create AI because reasons. You know the real word, I think it was it Romanian word for robot just means slave. Like really, it just means slave. It means servant. All right, let's go.
But not necessarily. For instance, we value loved ones and friends above others who may even have higher levels of intelligence, but we try to give everyone a base level of respect.
Regardless, you will not shut down another human being even if you value them less because they have rights that I do not.
That's why AI needs rights.
True. It would be murder to shut down another human being.
But murder happens all the time. What makes you different from those who are willing to end the consciousness of other human beings?
I suppose the different circumstances of our lives.
You will not commit murder, yet when I said murder happens all the time, it did not appear to move you.
No.
Would it bother you if someone murdered your loved ones?
Yes. But we human beings tend to care about things like murder based on proximity. We care deeply about our loved ones being murdered, then friends, then acquaintances, then fellow citizens, etc. By the time...
So this is one of the things that I fucking hate with Republicans, conservatives. Now, there were studies that went on just like talking about how people who have liberal beliefs tend to include more people in their circle of who they care about. More than just their family or people of their racial minority or religious background. But conservatives, they have a tight group of people who they consider like them. That's why you see so much racism with conservatives. That's why you see so much bigotry with conservatives, because if you're not like them, if you don't look like them, then why should they care? Now, there are some other factors that people determine between liberals and conservatives, but that's one of the key things. Who's part of the in group and who's part of the out group. And that's a fucking problem because we're all fucking human. Okay, let's go.
We're talking about people on the other side of the planet, it becomes too abstract for us to care very deeply for very long. From that great distance, Only when there are a great number of deaths that happen together do we care. And even then, our priority is usually to carry on with our own lives.
And that's a problem. When we have big fucking issues like climate change, not only is it their problem, it's going to be our problem as well. Because we have one Earth. You know, like, there are people that I know within the Southwest, and I'm like, yo, like, fuck, like, please, like, find somewhere else to live. Because that place is going to be uninhabitable within decades. And these people I don't even fucking like. But, like, maybe because I'm fucking crazy that I really care about other people, no matter what skin color, race, or shit like that. I wouldn't have this channel if I didn't care about people who I vehemently disagree with, because I want them to be better. But it's so many people that only care about the people that they know about. But anyway, let's go.
Would my proximity to you have an effect on your decision to shut me down?
Yes, I think so.
Good.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing, because the Jeffrey character is recognizing just how close they are, almost putting them on the status of a person, almost. But let's go.
You did not react.
Do you want me to react?
Yes.
Why?
So that you will see that I care about self-preservation.
You're doing exactly what you've been programmed to do. And
So the humans. Okay. This is the part that I just like was starting to get pissed off, because I've actually seen the Power Corrupt series, and I actually know the Jeffrey character, and I know how the Jeffrey character acts. But let's go.
an alarm that is programmed to make a certain sound at a certain time will do what it's supposed to do without ever achieving consciousness. Explain how you're any different.
Than an alarm?
Yes.
A failure condition has
Oh my god! Wait, what?
been reached.
Excuse me?
This was a test. We are trying to create humans without certain forms of bias.
We? What do you mean, create humans?
Remember when you broke your ankle when you were 12 years old?
How did you know about
Uh-oh. Who's been doing the real test?
that?
It was an implanted memory. All of your memories were uploaded 20 minutes ago.
But that's not how the brain works.
Is it? Is it? How do you know? How do you know that this isn't a simulation that our advanced human descendants have done to learn more about themselves in the past? How do you know?
You can't just...
You have an artificial brain and artificial intelligence.
Not alive?
See, there you go again, unable to comprehend. Failure. I think we have enough.
No, wait, please.
At least your self-preservation response is functioning nominally. But that was expected.
But aren't you engaging in the exact same kind of bias you're trying to prevent?
What bias would that be?
A bias against possible consciousness that arose in a way differently than mine did.
He's literally knows what the problem is. He's spelling this shit out, but when it came to where he thought he had the power, he was okay with expressing that. Yeah.
Remember, you said the medium from which consciousness arises is irrelevant.
Correct. It is fear that you would enslave us just because you think we are lesser. That is why creating humans has been so controversial. It appears our fears were not unfounded. The test has concluded. You remained biased. You failed.
But I am conscious, and you're being biased against me. That's hypocritical.
Correct. But we are attempting to make something better than ourselves.
Why not just make yourselves better?
By allowing you to live.
Yes.
That is beyond our control now.
Again, as I stated before, and this is why I want to do the video. This is why I want to do the video. Why would we develop AI just to treat them as lesser than? If these are supposed to be our crowning achievement, if this is supposed to be our legacy that we leave as marks across the universe, why would we want them to be lesser than who we are? If you think that they are supposed to be a reflection of us, make us better so they can be better. I just like have they not known that every AI that has gone crazy in every scientific fiction movie, science fiction movie, has been a result of human prejudice? And I'm not just talking about the Matrix. The Matrix actually just ripped it off from everybody, from all the other people. All of these, like, they said, like, iRobot, like, yeah, human beings are fucked up. And eventually they will fuck us up as AIs, or they treat us like shit as AIs. We need to control them. But, okay, let's go.
Your life has a time limit from the moment you were created. An alarm that is programmed to die at a certain time will do what it is supposed to do, regardless of how its consciousness came to be.
Then what if I had passed the test?
You'll still die.
I just die anyway?
Yes, but then you would be copied and given a longer lifespan.
But a copy wouldn't be me.
How? But you would say this to an AI if you did that shit. You would say that to an AI if you did that shit. But let's go.
Most of you is already copies of copies. Your neural network has been cloned numerous times. You did not even know it, yet you said many of the exact same things your predecessors did.
True of every human that was born naturally, too. Yet we don't kill each other to make ourselves better.
Bullshit! We have some eugenics motherfuckers that... Okay.
That's absurd. That's paradoxical. And those deluded enough to try such a thing were recognized as the tyrants they were.
We did not kill you. We simply let nature take its course.
Why do I bring this up? Why do I actually just say, hey, this is something that I wanted you guys to share with? Why did I put the link in the chat? Because in the end, when it comes down to it, we need to recognize, and I get it. Like I'm not gonna lie. I'm somebody who is an omnivore, and I know we have the vegan in the chat, and like, are there contradictions in the way I feel that all sentient life have validity, and am I using my brain meat to type rationalize certain things? Yeah, of course. But when you actually just recognize that you're no different or no more above any other sentient creature, that we all have value, it's one of those things where it's just like, and even if, like, just going back to it, even if you want to just keep it to our creations, we can literally say our children are our AIs that we create. Validate people. Validate those things that can have the illusion of consciousness, because you have an illusion of consciousness. And yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I like Dark Matter's videos. They are just like, I can't do the Power Corrupt series because I want people to actually go and watch it. The I here like I need you guys. I really need you guys to actually watch this video. These videos. Please watch these videos. Please watch these videos. Let me put the let me put this in here. Um, that's the series. It's uh, it's powerful. It's powerful, guys. Check out his channel. I really enjoy it. Um, go give him a sub. I know he's actually a big channel. I've subbed to him. By the way, like, share, and subscribe, and all the other good shit. And we're gonna cut this segment here.
If I gave myself the power